practice that you remember going through at the University of Miami? Was there ever a practice when Lamar Thomas didn't dominate the defensive back he was going against?
There were about 130 when I first got there freshman year. And, it was that summer in between the freshman year and the redshirt freshman year where I really put the time in to get better. I can recall after the first week of practice not thinking I was good enough to play at the University of Miami just because such great competition. But once I realized that it was something I really wanted to do, and my goals were to break Michael Irvin's records and be named as one of the top receivers in school history, I went to work. And once you set your goals high, you got to go for it.
Who was that one DB that maybe gave you the most fits? You went up against some pretty talented defensive backs, future NFL guys. Who was one that maybe you just had some real tough battles, gave you some fits?
I would say, Ryan McNeil every day. We had a walk-on named Larry Luttrell. We had Damasio Green. These guys that I faced every day in practice, two of those latter two guys were on the scout team, and they got me better every day. They knew my moves, they knew everything I was doing, and you had to get better every day. Ryan, just for the competition factor of it, when he got to the University of Miami, he asked me, "Who are you?" And I said, "Well, who are you?" And he says, "I'm Ryan McNeil." And I said, "I've never heard of you." And he said he had never heard of me. So that started a war. And he also said that he was going to be the first player to ever play wide receiver and defensive back, and he was going to take my position. So it made for competition every day, and it made us better. It made us better players. I played against the great ones like Terrell Buckley, who's basically one of my best friends now, and but it didn't mean it wasn't that tough because I went against such great guys every day. Roland Smith, that's now the head coach at Central. Kenny Berry. All these guys were great, and they made you a better player, and you look forward to every one-on-one challenge because you knew that you were going to get better.
You speaking of Kenny Berry, now you're talking about guys that had kids that have already graduated from the University of Miami. Not to make us all feel old, but
I told Kenny, every time I see him, I always grab my chest, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Man, your hands are still in my chest somewhere." He taught me a lot of lessons in the beginning.
You talk about a guy like Terrell Buckley and just those battles that you had playing FSU during those years, and most of the time we got the best of them. What was it like, especially going up to Doak Campbell and winning there? And you were part of some pretty, memorable victories up there, the wide rights. What was it like going up there and winning?
It's what you came to play college football for. Those games were classics. It was, you go up there, everyone in the country is going to be watching. There's going to be a dogfight to the end. And you know that all your training and everything you've gone through during the summer was going to be tested. And you also knew they wanted to win, and they were a great ball club also. And just to be a part of it, the air, to be up in Doak Campbell and I think we split up there. I split up there. Still won that national championship ring, but to be a part of that, it's just a great experience. And you knew that all those games were instant classics.
How about? Did you ever play? You never played the Gators when you were in school, right? Was that rivalry dead by the time you got to school?
They replaced us with New Mexico State.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Unfortunately.
That seems equal.
That's about right.
Right, yeah. They come down here this year for what, who knows when we're going to play again because their New Mexico State strategy is still on the table.
Correct.
That rivalry always tends to bring the best out of everybody. Do you wish, a guy growing up in Gainesville, you wish that the two teams would play every year or every other year or regularly or more than once every decade?
Yes, it would have been great. But to their defense, and I hate to defend the Gators.
God.
They do play in one of the toughest conferences in America. And, their gripe was we're playing in the SEC and we're getting beat up every week, and then we have to play a tough Miami team who basically didn't play great competition.
Right.
I mean, you really look back and you look at it. We had some great hand-picked schedules, and whoever set those schedules were great. They deserved a raise on that because, we didn't play many cold weather games. We were independent at one point, and the Big East was not that good.
Right.
So, to their defense, I could see where they were coming from. I mean, who wants to play a team that plays maybe 3 or 4 tough games when you're playing 9?
Right.
9 or 10. So they had pretty good gripe, but I still would have wished we could have gotten a chance to play them.
What if we did something like this, where they play the Noles one year, the Canes the next year?
Well, then it's always that argument.
No.
Well, I take that. Well, now it's different. There would have been always that argument about, we played this team and we beat you by this many points, but parity is becoming in the state of Florida.
Right.
I mean, USF is somewhere lingering around. They've beaten us before and played Florida State.
Yeah.
Tough. It's FAU and FIU are still continuing to grow. It's not just the big three anymore because they're losing kids to other programs.
Lamar, we always love to ask our Pro Canes question of the week to all our guests, and that's, a guy like you who has 2 rings. What's one memory that stands out for you from your days at the U? I mean, I don't know if you personally could pick one play or one game, but if you had to pick one memory, what would that be?
Running out of the smoke for the first time.
Wow.
1988 against Florida State at home. That had to be a great. It was a great memory. I mean, it was first time running through that smoke, and it's something that always stand out in my mind, and I could never forget that. So it's a lot of great memories, but that definitely was one that I always think back to.
You've played for a lot of coaches, played with a lot of players. Who's been most influential on you as you move forward in your career as a coach?
Well, I would say that Terrell Buckley has we both decided at some point that there had to be more to life than playing golf every day. And, so we said, okay, let's get back into school. And he was able to get back into Florida State, and I saw what he was able to do, and so I kind of went to Randy and asked him if we could do the same thing, have a program that will allow alumni guys to go back to school if they were that close, because I only needed a semester.
Right.
And Randy told me that they basically didn't have that program in effect. So when he said that, I said, wow, that's a shame, because talking to Florida State's AD, they told me that I probably could come up there and finish. And we hung the phone up. I got a call 3 days later that they were starting the program for all of us to come back and finish up. Because, the most important thing was definitely getting my degree. And once I got my degree, everything just went north. And so Terrell, we talk all the time, and actually we were on the road together today. He's at Akron. He's a defensive back coach, and we kind of drew out a plan on what we wanted to do, and everything has kind of come, on that plan. We're both doing a great job so far, and we're just getting better as coaches, and maybe one day we'll be on the same staff.
I don't know if these Cane fans are going to enjoy you commingling with the Seminole.
Got to grow up at some point.
The problem is that most of us, Lamar, unlike you've managed to grow up. We don't grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid still.
Yeah. I'm always loved the Canes, but at the end of the day, it's about what's best for me and my family.
Yeah. One last question. You tend to have a soft place in your heart for Coach Erickson.
Yes.
What would be the one thing that you could have taken away from playing for, talking to, being around Coach Erickson that you use today?
I just like the fact that his door was always open, and whatever gripe you had, he listened, and You know, his door was just always, he was like a father. I mean, he still is. But, you know, Jimmy was so different. Jimmy was more about business, and you were afraid when he came in the room.
Right.
You know, he kind of, fear, motivation. But Dennis was more of, you know, here's the blueprint. Let's do it, guys. Let's go ahead. You're good enough. And he made you believe because he believed. And that's all you ever want. That's all you ever want as a kid, to know that your coach believes in you. You'll run through a brick wall for him.
No doubt about it. Lamar Thomas, Coach Thomas. We admire your growth. We love the fact that you're coaching and moving your way up at Western Kentucky. You know, part of me hopes one day we'll see you roaming the sidelines at Sun Life Stadium as a member of the UM staff, but we'll see how fate works that one out. Thanks for joining us, man, on the show. Appreciate it.
No problem, and I've enjoyed it, and, you know, go Canes, and, you know, I'll be checking the ticker every now and then, but go Hilltoppers.
Tell me, can you just do us a favor at some point?
What's up?
Can you tweet us a picture of you with the Hilltopper mascot?
Big Red?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm scared of that thing.
I know, so am I. That's why better you than me.
I'm afraid of that thing. So I'll get you one, but it's gonna be a while. I gotta get my nerve up.
Gotta get over his fear.
Yeah.
Lamar Thomas joining us here on AllCanesRadio. We'll be back after this. The Canes barber Steve Rivera in the house. Nate Brooks still to come. We're here at Shake Shack, 1450 South Dixie Highway in the Gables, right across from the U. More on AllCanesRadio after this.
We don't care about nobody except it's you. We don't.